The one thing that I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch. More people want to tune in.
New footage of NBA stars reacting to Caitlin Clark just went viral, and it's intense. What looked like casual talk turned into a heated debate about respect, talent, and the future of basketball. But the truth behind these reactions runs deeper than you think. And I've got every detail they don't want you to know. The record book redefined.
She knew what she had to do, Skip, went right down and got it. Quick layup, came right back and hit the three.
Hit it through.
Now, What's amazing is she says, y'all knew I was going to hit that logo three, for the record.
From her very first minutes with the University of Iowa, Caitlin Clark didn't simply play the game, she rewrote the manual. She piled up points, assists, deep triples, high usage possessions, usage rates that turned heads. Her stat lines weren't just good, they were seismic in scope. Headlines didn't tiptoe around her. They shouted, all-time leading scorer, record breaker, game changer. She became the NCAA Division I's all-time leading scorer, men's and women's combined. That milestone alone speaks volumes. Her highlight reels didn't just clip neatly into social media feeds, they exploded them. A transition 3 deep beyond the arc, a slick no-look assist into a breakaway dunk, a full-court vision moment. Suddenly, casual fans were tuning in, viewers who hadn't previously cared tuned because she made them care. She collapsed the division between the hardcore and the curious. But rewriting records brings weight. When you raise the ceiling for what's possible in women's basketball, every next step demands more. Expectation isn't linear, it curves upward, and the leap from dominant college player to pro innovator isn't guaranteed, it's questioned. The pro world asked, can you sustain this? Can you carry it in tougher environments, thicker defenses, heavier minutes, national spotlight? When NBA players began publicly discussing Caitlin Clark, when commentators referenced her with the same reverence as elite NBA scorers, that's when the magnitude of her record rewriting hit home. Their validation told a larger story, not just about numbers, but about impact. When your peers in the highest league take notice, it suggests your mark extends beyond one level. Clark's college legacy became foundational, not just for her own career, but for the sport. She forced a recalibration of how women's basketball could be viewed. Fast, electric, high-volume, premium content. She bridged audiences, fans who understood the nuances of the game, and casual viewers who now found themselves invested. And those records, they matter, but maybe not as much as the door they opened. Because if you dominate and reshape the conversation, the question becomes, what comes next? When the league, the brand partners, the media, the NBA voices ask, are you evolving? That's where Clark stands today. The record book has her name etched. The next chapter asks whether she'll rewrite what comes after. The Clark effect, ratings, hype, and economics.
And there's a reason fans of all ages are showing up in the thousands to watch her play at Big Ten arenas. It's hard to believe that her legendary career began only 4 years ago in a building with not a single fan allowed inside.
When Caitlin Clark first stepped onto a WNBA court, the shockwaves were immediate. It wasn't just another rookie debut, it was a cultural shift. The so-called Clark effect wasn't media invention or fan exaggeration, it was data-backed reality. Her presence changed the rhythm of the league overnight. Suddenly, every Indiana Fever game wasn't just a matchup, it was an event. From the moment she hit her first three-pointer, stadiums filled to capacity. Tickets that once sat unsold for weeks started vanishing within hours. Broadcast networks began competing for rights to air her games, and streaming numbers spiked across multiple platforms. Clark didn't just join the WNBA, she redefined its visibility. Her impact could be tracked in numbers that tell a story of transformation. One of her early matchups against the New York Liberty averaged around 2.2 million viewers, making it one of the most watched regular season games in league history. Another high-profile showdown with the Chicago Sky drew over 2.7 million, shattering previous records. These weren't isolated moments of hype, they were consistent indicators of a new era of attention. When Caitlin Clark played, people watched. But success like that carries an inevitable consequence: dependency. When Clark missed games due to injury, the drop-off was dramatic. Viewership for nationally televised WNBA games reportedly fell by as much as half. Some networks saw ratings drop from over 1.8 million to fewer than 850,000 when she wasn't on the court. Merchandise sales, social media traffic, and even betting activity followed the same pattern. It revealed something uncomfortable. The league's unprecedented growth was leaning heavily on a single figure. That realization didn't just alarm executives, it fascinated NBA players. When they discuss Caitlin Clark, they're not simply analyzing stats, they're acknowledging an athlete who moves markets. She's become both a competitor and a case study. A living example of how modern sports intertwine influence, entertainment, and economics. And yet, beneath all the attention lies a more complex truth. Clark's rise has forced the WNBA to confront both its potential and its vulnerability. Her popularity has opened doors, but it has also spotlighted how fragile star-driven ecosystems can be. If the league's momentum depends on her alone, it risks burning too bright too fast. Caitlin Clark didn't just elevate the WNBA, she exposed how much one player can shape its future. The leap to the WNBA and rookie explosion.
With the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa.
For Caitlin Clark, the leap from college sensation to WNBA star was anything but subtle. It was a grand entrance under a microscope. Selected as the #1 overall pick in the draft, she didn't just join a team, she stepped into a narrative already charged with expectation. Every move, every shot, every pass was under scrutiny. Fans, media, and league executives alike were asking the same questions. Could a player who dominated in college continue that trajectory against the strongest defenders in the longest season under the brightest lights? From the opening tip-off of her rookie season, Clark began to answer those questions, and she did so spectacularly at times. She set rookie records for three-pointers made and assists, posting usage rates that rivaled veteran superstars. There were nights of brilliance that seemed almost scripted, a 30-point explosion in one game, a triple-double in another, shots from distance that left opponents frozen. But alongside those highlights came reminders that the professional stage is a different beast. The schedule is grueling, with little recovery time. Opponents are stronger, smarter, and intimately familiar with elite talent. Passing lanes close in seconds. Defenders anticipate her moves in ways collegiate players never could. Fatigue and pressure collided with her creativity, testing both body and mind. NBA players watching these early performances are keenly aware of the nuances that casual fans might miss. They see the adjustments Clark is forced to make, not just to survive, but to thrive. They assess her adaptability, her response to targeted defensive schemes, and the subtle ways her presence reshapes the game around her. To them, evaluating Clark isn't just a matter of counting points or assists, it's a measure of growth, resilience, and potential impact on the league as a whole. Rookie seasons in the WNBA, as in all professional sports, are auditions on a grand stage. For a player entering with as much fanfare and expectation as Clark, every game carries additional weight. Her early successes hinted at the heights she could reach, but her challenges highlighted that potential is only part of the equation. Adaptability and endurance are equally crucial. NBA observers take note because they're not merely watching a prodigy, they're watching a potential peer who could redefine how the women's game is played, viewed, and commercialized. Clark's rookie season became more than a set of statistics. It became a blueprint for a new era, and the league, its players, and its fans were all paying attention. Branding, platform, and the athlete as identity
finally delivers. Caitlin Clark, PE. Is this the first Caitlin Clark exclusive?
Caitlin Clark didn't just step onto the court, she stepped into the spotlight as a fully realized brand. From the moment her WNBA journey began, her influence extended far beyond points, assists, or triple-doubles. Her name, her silhouette, her CC logo, and her growing social media presence became intertwined with her identity as a player. Endorsements arrived quickly, media appearances multiplied, and merchandise sold at unprecedented rates. Clark wasn't just a basketball star, she was a marketing phenomenon, a case study in how a modern athlete could dominate both sport and culture simultaneously. With this power comes immense pressure. Every post, every public appearance, every partnership becomes a signal to fans, critics, and industry insiders alike. Her Instagram stories, interviews, and even casual comments are analyzed for insight into her mindset, strategy, and brand trajectory. She is no longer judged purely on stats. Every move carries narrative weight. The scrutiny is amplified because Clark represents something bigger, the potential of women's basketball to break traditional boundaries and reach global audiences. NBA players who comment on Clark are acutely aware of this dual reality. Their opinions often straddle basketball and culture, recognizing that she is not just a WNBA guard, but a global sports figure. When a veteran player remarks, "Her brand is huge," it reflects an understanding that Clark's influence transcends the hardwood. Her impact is as much about marketability, cultural resonance, and visibility as it is about scoring points. But such prominence brings risks. When the brand overshadows on-court performance, perception can become distorted. Decisions about endorsements, media ventures, and public presence can influence how she is viewed as a player. Future career moves, whether launching a signature shoe, taking on media projects, or advocating for social causes, will intersect with her legacy as an athlete. Missteps or misalignment between brand and play could invite criticism or scrutiny that goes far beyond traditional sports analysis. For NBA Voices, evaluating Clark involves more than assessing her shot mechanics or court IQ. It's about watching how she navigates the intersection of performance and persona. Her brand becomes a scoreboard in itself, measuring influence, resonance, and potential for long-term impact. Success is no longer defined solely by wins or statistics, but by her ability to harmonize her identity as a player with her broader cultural and commercial footprint. Clark's rise illustrates the modern athlete's challenge, excelling on the court while mastering the stage off it. Narrative, bias, and public perception.
The Indiana Fever star was named Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year earlier this week, and she took time to acknowledge that race played a role in her success this year.
Talent alone doesn't determine public perception, narrative does. For Caitlin Clark, narrative and perception have become as much a part of the game as her shot or her speed. Every move, every highlight, every post on social media is filtered through layers of media framing, fan discussion, and commentator analysis. The way she is portrayed shapes not just her reputation, but how audiences and peers interpret her performance. Consider the questions that swirl around her daily. When Clark shows aggression, is she competitive or overbearing? When she dominates scoring, is she talented or lucky? When she celebrates, is she enthusiastic or arrogant? These subtle distinctions matter because they set the tone for commentary, influence public opinion, and even shape league-wide narratives. A single moment on the court can become a flashpoint, amplified across social media and news outlets, influencing perception far beyond the actual play. NBA players weighing in on Clark are fully aware of these dynamics. Their opinions rarely exist in a vacuum. They come with an understanding of historical context, of how women in sports, especially those who dominate, have been interpreted and critiqued. When a veteran mentions her mindset or her presence, it is not only about her basketball IQ, it's a recognition of her ability to navigate scrutiny, to thrive under observation, and to maintain focus amid cultural commentary. Clark's rivalries, her off-court persona, her interactions with media, all these contribute to the larger story being told about her. NBA Voices commenting on her performance and character help shape that story. They don't just discuss a player, they participate in the construction of cultural narrative. In this space, athletic evaluation and social perception intersect, creating a complex landscape where influence is measured not only by points, but by presence and persona. In this war of narrative, Clark is constantly negotiating her story. She's not just battling defenders, she's battling assumptions, biases, and expectations. Each highlight, each quote, each appearance is a strategic moment in shaping public perception. The commentary she receives from NBA players, sports media, and fans all contributes to the lens through which she is viewed. For Clark, managing this narrative is a critical skill, one that will influence her legacy as much as her performance on the court. Her story is a reminder. In modern sports, visibility is power, but it also carries responsibility, pressure, and constant interpretation. Injury, absence, and the mirror. It holds.
Basketball fans have been asking, well, when's Caitlin Clark coming back? The West Des Moines native and Indiana Fever guard will miss her 9th consecutive game tonight with a right groin injury.
Injuries are the unspoken adversary in sports, and for Caitlin Clark, the 2025 WNBA season made this reality painfully clear. After a stellar rookie year that earned her Rookie of the Year honors, Clark entered her sophomore season with sky-high expectations. Fans and analysts anticipated more record-breaking performances and electrifying scoring, but the season unfolded differently. A left quadriceps strain in late May sidelined her for weeks, and despite brief returns, groin injuries kept her off the court. By September, the Indiana Fever announced Clark would miss the remainder of the season, interrupting the momentum of her promising career. The effects of her absence were immediate. WNBA games featuring the Fever without Clark experienced steep drops in viewership, with some reports noting declines of up to 55%. Fever matchups averaged fewer than 850,000 viewers without her, compared to 1.8 million when she played. Clark had become more than a player. She was a central figure in the league's appeal and a key driver of audience engagement. Her presence drew fans, boosted ratings, and heightened the excitement surrounding the WNBA. Despite these challenges, the league showed resilience. The 2025 regular season still recorded a 6% increase in average viewership compared to the previous year, with 1.3 million viewers per game across ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2. The postseason set new records, averaging 1.2 million viewers per game, a 5% rise year over year. These numbers indicate that while Clark's presence significantly elevated the league, the WNBA's growth extends beyond any single player. Emerging stars, compelling matchups, and stronger media coverage all contributed to sustaining interest. NBA players and analysts also highlighted the broader lesson Clark's injuries provided: the importance of durability in professional sports. Her ability to recover and return to top form will not only shape her career, but also influence the league's narrative. A successful comeback could reinforce her status as a resilient and influential figure in women's basketball. Clark's injury season underscores a delicate balance. Individual talent can drive attention and economic impact, but the league's strength depends on broader foundations. Her recovery will be watched closely, and her return promises to be among the most anticipated storylines in women's sports, a testament to both her skill and her enduring influence on the game. Moreover, the conversation around Clark's injuries extended beyond sports performance, touching on public perception, media narratives, and league economics. Analysts noted that her absence revealed the WNBA's reliance on star-driven storylines for television ratings and public engagement, while simultaneously demonstrating that the league's appeal is increasingly multifaceted. The combination of emerging talent, compelling rivalries, and the league's commitment to expanding its audience has created a more robust platform, one that can withstand the temporary absence of even a superstar like Clark. Still, for fans and observers, her recovery and return remain among the most anticipated storylines of the coming seasons. In sum, Caitlin Clark's 2025 WNBA season served as a powerful case study in the dual nature of sports stardom. Extraordinary talent brings visibility, excitement, and economic impact, but it is always shadowed by the fragility of the human body. Her injuries not only sidelined her for a significant portion of the season, but also offered lessons about the interconnectedness of individual performance, league popularity, and fan engagement. As she continues her recovery, the anticipation of her return is palpable, and the narrative surrounding her resilience may prove just as compelling as her on-court achievements. A triumphant comeback could solidify her status not just as a generational talent, but as a symbol of perseverance and influence in women's professional basketball. A reminder that overcoming adversity is as critical to a legacy as scoring records or individual accolades. The moment of truth. What NBA players see.
Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty girls.
All roads converge here. When NBA players offer their opinion on Caitlin Clark, they're doing more than handing out compliments. They're issuing judgment, recognition, and projection all at once. Their words carry weight because they are speaking from a vantage point few others hold. They are asking the questions that matter. Is she a peer, a pioneer, a product of hype? Or is she something larger, a phenomenon whose impact transcends statistics, box scores, and individual accolades? In recent months, voices from the NBA have weighed in. Some praise her basketball IQ, her meticulous shot mechanics, and her uncanny ability to create opportunities out of thin air. Others are intrigued by her evolution as a brand, by the wave of hype she commands, and by how seamlessly she occupies the cultural conversation around women's basketball. Underneath the compliments lies an implicit question. Can Clark carry this momentum into a lasting legacy, one that rivals the greatest players in the sport? For Clark, this moment is pivotal. Peer recognition from NBA stars is more than flattering. It's validating. It signals that her impact is not confined to the WNBA, not limited to a single court or a single season. It's a statement. Caitlin Clark is a name that belongs across basketball, a player whose influence is expanding into the wider sports culture. But with recognition comes expectation. Every move will now be scrutinized, every off night amplified, every endorsement analyzed for what it reveals about her trajectory. The next time Clark steps onto the court, returns to full health, or launches a signature shoe, all eyes will be on how she positions herself, not just as a player, but as a leader of a movement, as a figure shaping the narrative of women's basketball in real time. NBA players offering their opinions are more than commentators. They are cultural arbiters. Their recognition signals that Clark's presence is not only noticed, but consequential. This isn't about a single game, a single shot, or even a single season. It's about how she situates herself within the evolution of the sport. And if you're watching closely, this moment could redefine not only her career trajectory, but also a chapter in basketball history itself, one in which Caitlin Clark moves from being a standout player to a symbol of a changing game. Before you go, remember, this conversation is just beginning. The reactions from NBA stars are shaking the basketball world, and the ripple effects are only growing. What they said and what they didn't might redefine how players view Caitlin Clark's rise. If you want to see how this story unfolds, the responses, the tension, and the truth behind every quote, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications. The next update could change everything.